This episode is sponsored by Stingray Tattoo Supply. Take your shop to the next level with our premium hydraulic barber chairs built for comfort, durability, and smooth performance. Perfect for barbers and tattoo artists who demand the best. Sleek, sturdy, professional. Get yours today at stingraytattoo.net. This is the chairman and the artist, where vision meets creation. Let's talk.
What?
Welcome back. This is Rafael from the Chariot and the Artist. Today with us, we got a friend of mine that I used to tattoo, and I still tattoo. Well, I haven't tattooed homie for a while. But anyway, we got another guest here. His name is Ted, and me and Ted are gonna catch up on life. We're gonna talk about what kind of adventures or what's going on. He was just telling me about iPhones and iPads, and I told him let's wait this for the podcast. So, what kind of rumors are you hearing about these things? Or why is it that people don't like working with Apple?
Oh, dude, it's just, the same old rhetoric. It's just people, you got people that just want to use Android. And then you got other people that are big Apple, iPhone, iPad people that, they're worried about who's watching. Oh, China this and China that, and you can't trust
Hey, they worry about who's watching at the same time they're fucking posted every 5-10 minutes.
Exactly my point. Exactly my point.
And they worry about who's watching, but they can't wait to go viral.
Bro, they stopped watching me when I started getting old and stopped being a fuck up. You know what I mean? To be honest with you.
Considering I was born back in 1969. Fucking, I think every step that I taken in this world, every move that I made, it's been documented one way or another.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And especially once across the border into this country, you're being documented one way or another, either through the school system, through the work system, through receipt system, and now we're documenting each one of us through Instagram, Facebook. All this stuff has become personal documentation.
This is what I know, right? All I know is I did crappy with computers in school. I never learned a damn thing. I through my addiction, I did hardwood floors mostly and specialized in all that custom work. Worked in the embassy and the Pentagon and stuff like that. Big high-end floors all over, everywhere. That's just what I did. I didn't know anything about a computer. They would say, "Hey, have you checked your email?" What do you mean, my email? If that shit didn't come to the front door, then I wasn't answering you for nothing.
Talk about that. I haven't checked my emails in a month. I check it once a month now. Since I closed Stingray, the business, since I closed the business, man, that email shit, you got to be alert every day. It's interesting because, we went into the tattoo business thinking it's just going to be tattooing, it's going to be art. We just tattoo people and that's it. But in our business, we had to become photographers. We had to become computer savvy. If you weren't computer savvy in the industry, you would get left behind real quick. And right now, Mr. Computers, they're switching up intelligence every fucking 30 days. A new thing comes up. Something. By the time you know, your shit is obsolete.
Yeah, the way that things have been going with this world in the last 20 years alone, it just made my head spin. It's like this. If I didn't know somebody like you that was up for making your way and finding out, doing the studying and. Man, I got ADD and I dealt with all these issues as a kid and they were just learning about them. And so I never even made it through junior high school to high school. So I can't even really sit down and focus on a computer and try and figure out how it works because first of all, I didn't understand the language,
The language is probably one of the most complicated parts about a computer because and also it switches real quick. It can be mean a couple of different things in different apps or different systems. But the language is one of the things that, you know, we know how to click, we know how to do this and that, but the language, if you don't know the language, it can be complicated, you know?
Yeah, you know, it's different. Like, I'm still trying to learn. I'm just like you were just showing me an iVideo. Like, man, I've been trying to build this web business. Yeah, iMovie.
Yeah,
see, I don't even know what it's called.
Yeah, iMovie. Like right now, you can start using iMovie, so you can start making the commercials the way you want it. You can put the products the way you want, you know. And actually, there are YouTube. You can look up a YouTube video on how to use iMovie on your iPad, and they'll show you where all the buttons means and this and that. And once they kind of explain what the buttons do, then start fucking around with it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Or just smoke out a joint and then start fucking with it, you know?
Well, you know, and there's another thing. So, like I said, I've been doing custom hardwood for so many years. I worked with my hands. My old man told me, he said, you're going to love this, dude. Back in the early 80s, my old man, he was a construction worker, swung a hammer his whole life. Mm-hmm. And he had diabetes. He was sick. And I remember when, I hate to say any names, but the president right now, right? And so this individual, when he was building all his buildings and stuff in New York, was, you know, going belly up and saying, oh, we're filing for bankruptcy and working all these laws, right? And just fucking the blue collar worker over. So fucking, I was just like, let me give it to you. My old man told me.
Got fucked over by a homie over
there?
No,
my dad didn't, because we were a little further south, closer to D.C. But my old man, he told me, he said, that guy ever becomes president, son, you better know how to work with your hands. And I'm telling you what, man, like, even all the way up to the election, and even right now, it seems like a lot of work that should be going isn't going. You know what I'm saying? And, like, things are crazy. Things are real crazy right now. Well, it just makes me grateful that I know what to do. You know, how to build a house.
Are you getting a little more work for you since he took over, or the work is still fucking up and down?
So the work is still, like, I'm in a holding pattern. If I'm going to... So, you know, I own Ktapothecary, right? So right now, we're in such limbo after the losses that we took, right? So when I started Ktapothecary, I stopped doing hardwood floors altogether. Mm-hmm. And the reason was because I wanted to focus on the business. And so I learned a lot of my stuff from you. You helped me work out. Man, the hardest part for us was what? The website, right?
Oh yeah, the website, getting past all the
my God, dude.
All the paperwork. And people understand how much red tape they put in front of, you know, something that
yeah, it's not easy to be legitimate with a CBD company, right? And I think we talked before about there was a lot of them that have been going out of business. And it's really curious because the last time that you and I sat down together, things were good. There was no issues. In that time, we were supposed to sell our place and move, and it fell through again. Well, when that happened, I was like, well, I'm not going to be selling my product. I'm not personally going to be selling my products because I won't be here in the state.
Oh, shit. I wonder if this is going to affect the housing industry then, Mr. Tariffs and shit like that. I wonder if that's how it's going to affect the housing industry.
So right now, since I had to go back into a holding pattern, right, all my savings was spent. Like, we had a big loss in our products because we have to right now buy other products from other companies. And if they don't go the way they're supposed to go because they didn't send me what they said they were going to send me, then the product's not going to work, not even for me.
Yeah, you got to get the raised shea butter. You got to get the raised
it's
stuff.
not even that. Like, so we developed a strain, but that strain came from a multitude of avenues of plants, okay?
Okay.
And in all of that, it takes 7 different products, okay, to make what my one plant can do.
Oh, okay.
So my one plant is sitting in a seed bank, just waiting.
Waiting for the right moment.
Right. Well, in order to meet everybody's expectations and standards for the law, we reached out and we bought the oils and the components, and it wasn't cheap to make all this happen, that I knew were going to work, because that's how I figured out which plants I had to get.
You're not buying a little bit. You have to buy big quantities.
A lot of it. You got to buy at least,
in order to,
at least need 16 ounces of each one. Mm-hmm. You know, that's a lot of product. And then you're going to break that down and make batches out of those. And if it doesn't work, the heating doesn't work. If there's one thing out,
you lose you lose the batch, you lose the whole thing.
Yeah, and I don't even, and it sucks because then it doesn't even work for me, and I can't walk.
Oh fuck,
bro! It was so funny this morning.
You're the first one to feel the effects is you.
Right. So
you can't let something back. You can't sell it if it's not working. You're just like, oh fuck.
So if it doesn't work for me, right, then I don't even bother taking it to the lab.
No, it's done.
Because the company that we've built is built on what our needs are. And all those people that need the same thing, then I can make it for them.
And every batch has to go through a lab first before you send it out.
Every batch.
Put it in the inventory.
Oh yeah, every batch.
So every batch has this paperwork.
Oh yeah.
That's so fucking.
Yeah, let me show you. So every batch, we're gonna go down and take it to the lab, and when we get the report back on the lab, we always put it on the bottom of our product, exactly how much CBD is in there, exactly what the percentage of the THC is in that product in that container.
Okay.
Right? That's very important to understand. Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of other people may be doing that. Most are not doing that blow up CBD companies. Which is why you see what happens.
Maybe they have different restriction limits in their state.
Right.
You know, and that's the thing. Each state created its own
limits,
its own restrictions, its own lab requirements or no lab requirement. I'm pretty sure.
Right. Well, here's the deal. Whether they require the lab results or not,
every state is different. I mean, I normally, when it comes to business, you concentrate on the state you're in. You're not going to look up all the other states if you're not even moving there.
Right. Well, here's the deal. I really don't care if they do require them or not. Mm-hmm. I'm always going to put out the money to get the test.
Yeah.
And the reason I do that is because even if somebody from another state buys our product, but their state may or may not require a certain percentage of THC. Like our product has 0.14% THC,
which is very important in the CBD thing, right?
Right, because you're not federally or by state allowed to have anything over 0.3% in a topical, right?
Yeah.
Right. Damn, exactly.
Yeah.
Now all these dispensaries, they're running like, I don't know, they're talking like over 3,500 milligrams of THC and the same and CBD or whatever. But what I noticed is, now not all of them. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying everybody out there is doing this, but a lot of them are just adding marijuana plant for the THC to the hemp plant for the CBD and mixing them all together and throwing it out there. Here, it's the same thing as that's not what happened. Bro, it took 7 different plants to make this work without my flower.
Yeah, but the thing, too, is right now we have everybody's experimenting different methods, different ways, different stuff, you know. And it's crazy when you see other methods and contradict what you've been taught and told, or never ever do this or never ever do that. But You got people that encourage that kind of stuff.
Here you go. Here's another key. When you say something like that, right, then you start triggering other memories of mine. Like when I started growing, right, for my medical license. When I started growing, they didn't have any dispensaries open. Now, these guys that were working in these shops, they were familiar with growing tomatoes just like me, like I was doing, right? Well, if you can grow tomatoes, you can grow some beautiful bouquets of flower, let's say. All right. Now, in all that time, the biggest problem for me was I was coming off of 400 milligrams of morphine, 80 milligrams of Vicodin, and 4 350 milligrams Soma muscle relaxers every day. That's what I took every day. So how do you replace that? Right?
How do you ever think of that shit? How the fuck did your mind function on that shit? Does things slow down for you? I mean, I never liked painkillers. To me, it was like one of the worst fucking feelings.
You want to know what's worse? Dude, when you're taking that much opiates and the opiate doesn't even give you an opiate feeling, you just are on the backside of it for the whole 6 hours before you take another one. Like there's no high. It's a constant come down.
Keeping the pain from getting to you. Because now it's painful, right?
10 times worse.
Oh, fuck.
10 times worse, man. Like, it's just totally crazy. So back to that, saying all that, that's junking up my system, right? It's putting a bunch of shit in my system. It's going to kill me. It's making my insides harden up. I'm coupled over all the time. I can't use the bathroom. Still today, just sitting in the bathroom, my whole right side goes numb. Like when people don't a lot of people don't know exactly what happened. But
I know about it. You get constipated to the point you can't shit.
Right.
And if you shit, it takes only 20 minutes.
Then you spend even more time. Well, I don't have to suffer from that.
It's bad enough you're a fucking tick like an Instagram on the fucking shitter.
Right.
But you're over there.
So we have to find a way to remove those impurities out of my system and get to a more clean environment inside.
Isn't it fucked up that the
the
medical industry thought it was a great idea for you to get into the those opiates?
They were just trying to get me to stay on
the medical system is okay with it. Like, here, let me give you some of this candies.
Let's keep this guy strapped to the couch so he doesn't go back to the jail cell.
It's fucked up, man. I mean? It's like, really, doctor?
Take his life away.
Are you really fucking helping me, or are you fucking me over?
Yeah, it's kind of like putting you in a jail cell and just letting you work out in the day room all day, because you're just locked in, really.
I don't know who I'm more afraid of, the drug dealer in the corner or the fucking doctor.
Oh, shit.
Bro. Mr. Doctor can let me in a fucking bad habit.
So
there, an injury.
Right. And so now I'm out trying to figure out with this medical license, because a doctor looked at me and said, "We know this is killing you." And I went, "No shit." Right?
After studies, we noticed that you have high dosages.
And then they say, in the next breath, they say, since the 400 milligrams of morphine isn't working, we're going to start giving you Oxycontin.
Let's give you something heavier.
Bro, look, I already don't have real teeth because I snorted so much Oxycontin and cocaine back in the day. Right?
So instead of decreasing the thing, they want to give you more.
Right. Now they want to give me an even stronger one. So I'm like, let's get this shit over with already, right? Just go ahead and
skip it to fentanyl, man. That's the next one.
Chop the hip off chop the leg off above the hip so that the pain goes away. And they're like, yeah, that's not going to work because the damage to the system's already done. I said, son of a bitch.
Fuck.
All right.
And you're going through still also all the injuries, your hip problem and stuff like that.
I mean, I don't do all those ablations anymore. So I started getting ablations done, and they were doing between the tests because of the insurance, between all the pre-tests and getting the ablations done and coming back and repeating in a same spot in a year, I was doing 13 procedures a year for almost 3 years.
Oh, fuck me.
Dude, you're like in...
You become like a little guinea pig for these motherfuckers? What the fuck? They just get fucking up and fucking up?
Well, no, because the problem was they had to go from my SI, coccyx area, which is your tailbone, and they had to go from the spine right there all the way up to my occipital nerve, because I suffer from extreme migraines. I have degenerative disc disease. I was bone on bone for about 11 years at my C5, C6.
Oh,
so
shit.
the whole right
I don't know
side.
exactly what he's talking about. It sounds serious.
Anyway,
for those of you that know the skeleton,
there's usually a disc in between those vertebrae. Well, that disc was gone. Okay. So you just got your bones on top of each other, and they're crushing the nerve.
Ouch.
So the nerve damage is done. You see me keep moving right now because I can feel the neuropathy starting to kick in.
Yeah, well, you got
right? But it's just because of the way I'm sitting. And if I don't use my topical, if I don't use that lotion, I can't even put my arm down without screaming.
Oh,
it's that bad. It's extreme. Like we call it extreme cream because I live in extreme pain. That's why it's called Ted's Topical, because that's what I live in. If I don't use it.
And thank God to your cream, you got rid of all the other fucking crazy shit that the doctor said it was okay for you to do.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. So that same doctor that said those things to me said, have you ever thought about a medical marijuana card? And here's the fucking flipped out part about everything, right? So this whole time I'm doing this, I had the surgery in 2010. When I came out here, my idea was to get a medical marijuana card. Fuck everything, fuck everybody, I can smoke, do whatever I want, right? Well, that's not how it ended up. These doctors brought this up to me a whole year before I said yes. Because I remembered before I came back to recovery, my attitude was, this is how I'm going to play a game. And when I got to that point in my life, I had been in recovery working steps with my sponsor for so long and learning a whole bunch. Man, if you have a problem with opiates or anything and you can't find a way, please reach out to a recovery program. It'll save your life, like for real. That's what this product and the drive for this product all came from, because I'm a recovering addict and I never wanted to ever use again. And here I am in recovery being told that I'm going to have to live on these pills the rest of my life. And whatever I can manage as pain is the quality of life I'm going to have. Whoa, why am I even going to keep breathing? Like, I'm sure a lot of people think that. And there's a lot of people that commit suicide over it. So please look up your local hotline for suicide prevention. It's not as bad.
Oh, no. Believe me, I dealt with that demon before. I seen people around me, gone through it. And at least a fucked up life, Right. But anyway, that's good to know that,
So that's why you remember, so now we're still dealing with why we're all organic. And I'm going to tell you, people used to tell me, don't use any raw nutrients, right? Now, come on, I'm from back east. We know how to garden. I got family members that were tobacco farmers. We know how to raise crops. I was a kid running around. I'm not stupid.
You come from a farming area.
Right. And so I know that these guys that are West Coast growers that are working in these stores are telling me, oh, no, these products are organic. You only need to spend $230 on this tub that's going to last you 6 weeks. What the fuck? Well, turns out, yeah, they're made out of organic stuff, but a lot of those things, not only are they watered down, but they're pulled from other products with chemicals, right? So we've learned what to use that's organic, that's good for our garden, that is the same thing that in life and death of all the vegetation around you and in the wild is how things would happen. That's how we treat these flowers, with love, right? No chemicals.
I seen it, yeah. And when I hear people about chemicals, then that's Mr. Scientist wants to get more crop out of the yield, and then you got the farmer who says, no, I'm going to do it with compost, I'm going to do it with proper stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to study my bugs, which one kills which one, so I get rid of this bug with that bug instead of using the chemicals.
Right. Now, and so now you put all that into play. And I use this, excuse me, I use this on CBD flowers. This is not marijuana where we're getting high and all that crazy shit. Like, you can walk up on me and you might see me smoking what looks like a rolled up cigarette, and it might smell like cannabis or hemp. Well, they smell the same.
Yeah, but it's
right?
It's a high CBD content.
But you're not going to be talking to some dude who's stoned sitting back on the couch. So you can try and double talk me, work me over, try and trick me into some bullshit, and that I'm not high. You can look at me and know that I'm not high.
Oh yeah,
right.
That's what I noticed.
And that's why I smoke the ones that I smoke, because I don't smoke anybody else's.
No, you're doing it. You're doing it for your medical thing. And believe me, when I smoke weed from you, it's like, oh, this is a CBD weed.
Yeah.
This is the one that's going to put me to sleep.
All of a sudden, I don't hurt anymore. It's crazy.
And you believe me, I seen you before on your painkillers years and shit like that. I was like, damn, I was afraid of you in a way, just like, when is this fucker going to shaft me, or when is he going to try and do the full fast on me? Because that's what all those drugs do. Everybody becomes a hustler,
Yeah. Well, so we get a whole lot of people that are afraid of the THC factor in the product. Now, like I said, federal and state guidelines, they say that you can't put any more than 0.3% THC in that product.
And yours is way low.
Yeah,
yours is way below the 2.
Yeah,
yours doesn't even get to 2.
It's half. And so when people use it, they're really drawn back. They're like, wow, how is it that I've used all these things and now this is just like an eraser?
But it's so cool that you actually now creating a product out of it and all that, because you were just using it for yourself.
Bro,
that is so fucking cool. I'm one of the fuckers who decided to push this fucker.
Oh, this
hey,
is
right now you should get into it, bro. It's going like crazy.
Hey, and here's what happened when that happened, right? I was crawling across floors, getting the ablations done, and then all of a sudden, this CBD-infused cream provides targeted comfort with a zesty, refreshing scent. Find your relief today at Ktapothecary.com. I went home one night. It was so bad in my spine, I sat in my truck for 2 hours.
Damn.
And then when I went in my house, I was crying and dragging my leg behind me down the hall, 2 hands and a knee. And
so you almost sound like a zombie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crawling through the house in pain.
It was the craziest thing, because we've made tons of lotions. So when I made this product, it wasn't about smoking it. It was about finding a way to have something work topically. Mm-hmm. Something that nobody was offering me in the beginning, right? And so if I was going to take this medical license, then I needed to take this medical license and really do something positive for myself. So I had to think outside of the box. Everybody wanted me to grow pot. because I was really fucking good at this shit.
Yeah,
and I was only growing 1 ounce plants at a time, but a bunch of them.
Not everybody's got the green thumb, you know.
Yeah.
Once you got a green thumb, once you know how to grow stuff, and you got the green thumb, and you know your soils, you know how to treat them and all that. There's a science to it, you know, but it's a natural science.
And here's the funny part. Like, all the guys that I was talking to, they were all the guys that were connected with these dispensaries that were going to open when they finally opened for medical. So I already knew that their stuff didn't work for me. Because if I smoked their stuff, it might deal with my pain for 25, 30 minutes. But then I was stoned for like 3 or 4 hours. And if I need to get rid of the pain every 20 minutes, well, how fucking stoned am I gotta have to be?
Yeah,
right?
Then you're afraid you're gonna fucking lose your job because you prove you come out positive. Like right here in Nevada, everybody's got to get some kind of test or something for a job, you know.
Well,
even though it's legal, but not if you work here. You gotta get it tested, you know.
Right.
Lucky me, I work for myself.
Well, what happened, right? I went to go take a hot bath, praying that, you know, I would at least be able to stand up at some point of the night. And there was this little glass jelly jar that had some residue just around the glass, the inside of the glass of the jar. I couldn't even scrape nothing out and try and rub it on me. That's how empty this jar was. And it was one my wife had been using. Well, my wife didn't tell me that she has been using this cream and it's been working for her, because she doesn't even know that it's working for her. She just thinks she feels okay. Right? Are you not paying attention, Kimberly?
So she wasn't doing the research like you were,
bro. And so she tells me, well, why don't you try to use the lotion? And I go, what lotion? She goes, that one in the jelly jar. I go, there's nothing in the jelly jar. She goes, oh, sorry, I guess it's out. Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of obvious. It's out. It's as out as this cup holder, right?
That's fucked up.
And so I take it and I just turn the hot water on, and I'm like, maybe I can just burn this pain out. Mm-hmm. Well, I just took the jelly jar and I rinsed it out under the spigot.
Running water?
Yeah. Dude, I fell into the tub, and in less than 30 seconds, I felt all these things release in my lower back that were felt like knots. My back was just going boom, boom, boom. And then everything that hurt down to my toes, the neuropathy, it just tingled all the way out to the end of my middle toe. And I jumped up out of the fucking bathtub. And I stomped my feet. I said, what in the hell just happened?
And that's when you discover Mr.
Dude, the next thing you know, I'm standing in front of my wife in the kitchen, butt ass naked. What was in that jar? And so that's when it all began. All of a sudden, I didn't have to rely on 12 on, 12 off for lidocaine patches. I possibly have to worry about ablations anymore. And I only got an ablation at the end of last year because I was supposed to move 5 dogs in a moving truck, all my shit, and my wife, who's disabled, we all know, to another state on the other side of the country. And
Virginia area?
Yeah, we're going to go to Virginia, home for a while. But because I can't sit for a long time without feeling a bad pain. But normally, and I've done this, when this first hit, it worked. We went back and I researched all the plants that I had, and I had to go at it again to find the right plant, because it was only one set of seeds of this one plant that I had developed that actually worked like that.
Damn.
And when I found it, man, it was on and cracking after that. When I found that plant worked, that 1 ounce worked, everybody that saw me doing floors was like,
yeah, and I see this fucker do floors. It's almost sad. Oh man, I feel so bad. I like you were hard.
Hey, listen,
you do the floors too.
I was living at
hard work.
right. I'm living at an 8 to 10 pain level, but I have to take care of my wife and my kids and my dogs. I have to take care of my family somehow, and so I did. I struggled. I made that commitment. I made a decision, and I started walking through it, even in the amount of pain that I was in. And I was going to sweat with some of my natives for a while. I did it for every Friday for, well, a little over a year. And I put a lot of prayer, and I put a lot of concentration, and I put a lot of love and blood into the creation of this product, because I and my wife don't want to go out like that.
No, it's the one that works for you. You know, finding something that works for you finally.
Right.
Like, holy shit.
Well,
you know?
it was about 7 months after that experience. That hope is what kept me going, because I had to go back, find the seeds,
And then you have
plant
to
a whole bunch of
Right. You gotta wait for the
Now you gotta wait and grow it again.
plant to grow.
Right.
Which
Now,
is not overnight.
Now, see, and here's the thing. Because I'm not growing to get high, I'm not growing marijuana. I can stop it at any time. I can grow as much or as little as I want. So I was on it was like going to the bar and doing speed dating. Like I was popping seeds and strains and getting them vegetated as quickly as possible, and I was blowing them out. And just when I would put them into bloom, I only need that plant to begin to put everything out. I don't need it to mature. I don't need it to, because I'm just running tests.
Uh-huh.
Do you see what I'm saying? We're not growing this shit for quality to smoke it or nothing like that. We're just trying to relieve our fucking pain.
So it doesn't have to go through full bloom?
No, once it's already blooming, you're going to let them bloom for about 10 weeks and 12 and 12 if you're working under a light. And the deal with that is just to get to full maturity, to where all your resins and your terpenes are full flavor, and your trichones are no longer white. They're turning gold or amber or whatever strain you're growing. They might be turning purple. And if you're growing what I'm growing, those motherfuckers are like auburn, red, purple. They're not like any other resin you ever seen.
Well, I can't remember, because last time I was at your house, I tripped out on a cookie, remember?
Yeah. I'm going to come and take some pictures of what you guys are doing for your documentary. And he comes up there and he fucking ate some cookie somebody gave him. I had to drive him home in his own truck. I go, bro.
Good drive, fucker. That shit kicked in.
Bro, that's why I got clean right here. This is why I stopped using it. Because that stuff will happen all the time, bro. Yeah. But, so it just, once that plant is actually growing, that maturity is just going to give it its most potent time. Okay? Now, I'm not looking for most potent. I'm looking for that feeling that I experienced in that hot water, right?
Yeah.
So if I let my plant just grow an ounce, right, that means that the veg state is going to be very short. That means it's going to go into bloom. It's only going to be about 10 and 12 inches tall.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And so when I get it in, it's going to spend 5 or 6 weeks in there. Now, I'm not just doing this with one strain.
What you were doing with all the other
multiple strains at a time, right?
You are labeling them now,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Put a number or a label or something. Bring out your notepad and start taking notes.
I have a lot of strains.
Isn't it weird that you have to kind of
Yeah.
become a scientist? You actually really have to keep track
Yeah,
of
and
your
that,
shit.
and that was the thing is like everybody was like, why don't you just start growing weed and selling it? I'm like, yeah, nah. No,
You
I've
weren't doing it
I've
for
been
that.
in
You're doing
enough.
it for the relief.
Yeah, I've been in enough trouble in my life, and here's the deal, right? When they came out and said, okay, my whole life I've been using marijuana medically
Mm-hmm.
because of my ADD, my hyper disorder. I've had shakes my whole entire life. I tried to chase them away with alcohol, but I had them even before I ever drank alcohol. So there's some issues going on, and I always used it medically, right? So I was never able to get the same stuff all the time to actually do it medically. So now that I am, it is truly, understandably, a medicinal product. If it's used properly and the strain is developed properly. So
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, not every strain
No.
is medical.
It's kind of like me, if I'm a user, every time I'm getting weed from different dispensaries, this and that,
Right.
there's no way I can keep track of what weed is better than this and that. I'm just doing it for the high, for the fun.
Oh, yeah.
It's not, it's not
Yeah.
after the pain or this or that,
Right.
where you're doing it for the pain relief. I'm doing it for the
Right.
fun high, or I want to concentrate on on whatever I'm doing on my computer. That's the way I can kind of focus on stuff. It's just
That-
my smoking a joint and
Right.
and get rolling on a subject or concentrate on a
Right.
to understand Google. Like it took me only 10 years to understand Google Ads, fucker. That's a lot of weed that I had to take.
So
I also went into the rabbit hole of fucking Facebook ads.
right.
Well,
Once we found that plant and I put that cream on and it worked again, I took that, right? Because what I do is I stress my shit out. And I always have more than one plant from the same seed going because
Okay.
I'm always testing. And so if the test run goes good, then I got another one behind it that's got some gut to it that I can make something out of, right? And that's how this all started.
so now you have a little backup.
Right. And so when those strains, those first plants, those ounces wouldn't work, the ones behind them, the bigger ones, would get pulled. And we'd trash them. We didn't even grow them.
Did you ever do?
So I got strains I don't even know the numbers on.
Do you do clones out of them, or do you raise them until
I
they
started.
have seeds?
Oh man! Once I got that one that was hitting, I pulled that plant is the one that I started
How do you
cloning.
cross? You clone it, or you?
Yeah,
you can't
because what
crossbreed
happened
it, right?
was like I never really grew a whole bunch of it because once we knew that it was working for us, we took a shot in the dark and ran it down to the lab. And the only reason we did that was because for 3.5 months, people were looking at me going, did you go get another surgery? And I'm like, no, man, there's no surgery that's going to make my problem any better. They can give me a new hip. The problem's not going to change.
Now you got rid of the cane.
Right. And the hip is fine. Right. Everything is as long as all those muscles and tendons and ligaments that stay tied in a knot and screwed into my pelvis bone, then my hip's not going to pop out of the socket anymore. Now that sounds like it hurts.
I just
saw
trying to
you-
figure out who would have hit you in case I need to knock you down.
Hey,
Which leg to hit.
if you ever been so for women that have had children and done it
Yeah,
naturally,
children, yeah.
they understand what that pull feels like for the time that they're giving birth.
Oh shit!
I feel that shit 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, unless
You got that.
I use my cream.
See,
If I don't use
so
my
you're
cream,
always feeling like you're in delivery.
yeah, bro.
Oh shit!
Listen, the envelope, all those muscles and tendons and ligaments and stuff that hold your hip in the socket, the femur in the socket,
Yeah.
they're all connected to your scrotum, everything. Okay? So we don't want to talk. I'm not even. We're not going X-rated right now.
So it goes everywhere.
But this is an 18 and up show, right? So
yeah. So it goes everywhere. It's like holy shit.
Right. Just to
somebody kicked you in the nuts in a way.
It's exactly what it feels like. So when you try to get in like
when you do with the skateboard, it's up in the middle of your fucking, you see those videos where the
you're
kid
riding a bicycle and
the fucking bicycle, you end up.
Yeah, and the shitty part is to be intimate, it creates even more pain. So fuck. Like these people were asking me how I was walking, and I would just give them a sample of my cream. I just give them cream, the lotion. And I would go back to work at their place the next day, and they'd tell me, "What the hell are you still doing floors?" I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you need to sell this.
Well, this is like in the very beginning. I don't have any product. I don't have anything like this. I don't have... Well, you got to have a name for your product. You need to have a business. And man, I got thrown into this. I'm a 9th grade dropout. I don't know how to use a computer.
We're still throwing you into it. This is the reason we're doing a podcast. We're still throwing you into it. We're still telling you, hey, now you got to do promotion and talk about your story.
Right.
And let people know how your product came about and...
But it's
your ambitions, or what do you see in the future? Because people may think that you're greedy or this or that, not knowing that you're actually doing it for a cause.
Oh my God! I've had my own relatives on the East Coast think that because we have Ktapothecary that I'm this fucking wealthy ass pot grower.
Not knowing they were struggling like a motherfucker to stay afloat.
And I'm, and here I am living in a double wide trailer renting a lot. Who the fuck do you think I am? Right? Let's get real here. I'm just a crippled up motherfucker that is lucky enough to be able to care for himself and his wife well enough to go to work to pay his bills. Just like every other struggling American that doesn't have pain.
Yeah, you do it. Fuck, man, you're still doing floors and shit like that. Yeah, I hope your product takes off. I hope people place orders on ktapothecary.com. Check him out. He's got a really good CBD product.
Now, my site is like, right now we don't have our bath bombs on there. We don't have our droppers on there because...
Is it still live, though?
It's still live.
Okay, you can go to the website because I'm still promoting on the stuff.
Right. You can still get Ted's Topicals, the extreme cream, but my recovery cream is we don't have the labels for all that, and that's for people who are worried about THC. It's a different product. It's 0.05% THC, and then I have another one with 0 THC with the same amount, 2,300 milligrams of CBD per milliliter in it. And, it's a different product. So depending on who you are, unless you have extreme pain, those will work for you, but we just don't have them on the site yet because we have to be able to afford what we now have containers and we have product. But now I got to
there's always a little more business. As you're expanding your business, there's causes that come play and you have to invest in them. But once you invest in them, those will return. They'll come back, but it's a hard investment, and also with the economy and everything getting fucked over right now and crazy.
Here's what's crazy is I, in the last 30 days, was about to let it all go.
I believe it, man. Sometimes there's times that I wanted to just stop, but it's like, nah, I gotta keep going, and something tells me that there's going to be it
was weird because I had my dogs at the vet.
Oh, man.
And the vet, the girl behind the desk at the vet remembered that we had this CBD company because Tugger, one of my husky Malamutes, he had seizures. Uh-huh. Well, I grew a CBD strain
For him.
Specifically for him. This is another one that I came out with, and it got me off all my psych meds. It's really good. I take about 6 to 10 drops when I start feeling overwhelmed and out of place, and and boom. Well, these drops, the only reason I started using them is because I was trying to find something that would stop Tugger's seizures, because I didn't want him on that medication, because I know that medication will kill the dog too.
Yeah, it fucks up their liver, fucks up their system.
And what it does is it disintegrates their organs while they're still using them until they fall over and mush inside their body.
Fuck.
And I can't at all do that. So
slowly kill the dog while you're trying to keep him from seizuring.
Yeah, it's kind of selfish.
Yeah.
Well, what happened was Tugger doesn't have seizures anymore. I gave him 2 drops of the same product twice a day.
So the vet is interested in your product.
4.5 years now.
Okay.
Now I give it to all my dogs. And I got 5 of them. But I give it to all of them because, and they're all healthy. My biggest one was 110 pounds. He lost 23 pounds.
Odin used to get his CBD by eating my plants, that fucker.
Was he getting CBD or was he getting THC?
He was just,
what was he getting?
eating my fucking plants, that fucker. I come out. Who that all I see all the slobber? You can tell he left the evidence.
Yeah.
You know, when he had cancer, he's like, hey, I need treatment, fucker.
So and so here's like, we're not done here, right? I still do hardwood to pay my bills, but this business, when I was at the vet, the girl was asking me for a sample of the cream, and the next thing you know, after me talking to her, just like uncandid, just like I talked with you, 3 of the people in the waiting room asked me for a card.
Oh, cool.
And one person came out and purchased one.
Awesome.
And I'm like, right when I think
start to give
I want to let it go, it comes up and taps me on the shoulder and says, you were doing this for the people who need it, not for the people
you're not going
who want to go into the dispensary and just find something that may or may not work. The normal person doesn't want to go to the dispensary. The normal person doesn't normally go into the smoke shop. The elderly doesn't go into the smoke shop. I meet them at the tea shop. They become a customer right off the counter.
Yeah. Oh, the tea place over on...
Two Soul Tea Company. Over on California and Plumas, right in Midtown in Reno, Nevada. Love those ladies in there. They're awesome. They've been, they've used it religiously since the product worked. And they were like, if you can turn this into a product, put it on our shelf.
Yeah.
And so, things have been crazy. I've been keeping this back. So here's the deal. It's not that we're not successful.
No, you already are successful. You're off the meds, you're off the stuff. But, the next step is the financial, which can be stressful sometimes or
that is
deceiving
where we're at.
And shit like that. But don't go, you're successful and hopefully it'll happen sooner or later, Hopefully later than sooner, but once it happens, it happens.
So where we're at, right, is like, because I'm buying those oils,
welcome to Graffiti City, your one-stop shop for graffiti supplies. From spray paint to markers, caps, and merch, we've got it all. Let's get creative. GraffitiCityNV.com.
and the oils don't work together, if I can't figure out what I need to do to tweak whatever they sent me and get it to work, then I'm out a bunch of money. It's all right. It already happened. It already happened.
But don't you just hate it when you go after a product or you try to do something and you feel like you wasted time, you wasted money, you waste.
Well, so, and believe me, for getting it to everybody, I'm chomping at the bit. I'm chomping at the bit so hard that sometimes I just want to cuss. But here's the deal. I can't afford to continue failing products and just breaking even, right? I can't afford to license to grow my flower in a space because I don't own my home. If I owned my home, I could just license my shed. They already told me that.
Oh yeah, that's what you need to go to Virginia.
Yeah, because we have property there, but we don't. But we're stuck here in Nevada for right now.
Yeah.
So we're still going to be in business somewhere.
It sucks when you want to make the move financially or something happens
Right.
that it cripples you until you're ready.
It's okay. We're selling the home in order to move forward with the company. And here's why. Because everybody who's not dead that used our product for their pain is still using our product and telling their friends about it. And I think that my webpage is not really worth even paying for. Somebody orders something, no matter how small.
It's kind of like going fishing. You've been trying to catch it, and finally you get a bite. You're like, all right, I'll stay another hour. Yeah. You know, that's how it is. I mean, and I'm glad you're sticking by it, man. I'm glad I'm a part of it. I'm glad that I decided to help out. You know,
we'll be straightened out here soon.
And you know, you're doing good, homie.
Check us out. Ktapothecary.com. If anything, just grab, go ahead and order yourself a sampler. Mm-hmm. If you're local, we'll get it to you a lot quicker than mailing it to you. But if you try out a sampler, you won't be disappointed. And if you are, you just send the rest of it back to me and I'll refund your money.
Yeah.
And
we're sponsoring you. We're sponsoring you through the website. You're sponsoring the website. And the sponsorship is actually, we just put it as a commercial. Where it's a free sponsorship that we're doing. What do you call it? A community service. Because once this product takes off, it's me and this fucker are gonna go fishing and barbecuing.
Oh yeah. Hey, listen. Here's the important thing that you should know: is the people around here that know me that need it are getting it.
That's what matters.
And they are getting off the opiates, and they are working, and even a part-time job. And dude, it is the craziest thing that I never thought I'd be sitting in a seat of this position.
And bragging about something that you created and it's helping others.
Man, and I don't think it's about bragging. I just think it's about letting people know that we're here to help you no matter what.
I've been calling it
that's
bragging.
the important.
You know how fucking
you guys brag about me all the time.
You know how great I feel when
I got friends
I
like
help
you.
somebody cross the street like an old lady or something like that. Making
Did
sure
you see what I just did?
Making sure, that kind of stuff. You should be bragging. That's something to brag about. That's something to feel good about,
Well, I can tell you, I remember last month we were sitting in the same place, and you guys had me sitting in front of this doing this podcast. Me and Kimberly were the first ones, the guinea pig. I'm always the guinea pig. If it doesn't work for me, it's not going to work for you. But if it's been working for me, you might want to try it out. You might see something change in your life.
Yeah, we recorded a podcast with homie, but it didn't come out as good as we hoped it. It was a first practice, but...
we put it on our YouTube channel. It's hysterical.
We're glad to have Ted back, and we're gonna keep going on with these adventures, finding out what's going on in the CBD world, what kind of things are going on with marijuana licensing and all this stuff. I kind of keep up with it by listening through him because he's gone through the paperwork, and
man, and it has been a nightmare.
And he tells me, how expensive it can get and everything. So
I've invested about $110,000 into this already, and last year, because after my wife's heart failure, I didn't think this was something that was going to keep going, and it went on its own. But we didn't only made a few $1,000s last year, and none of it was profitable.
No,
it was just breaking even. So
and people don't understand how much some of these licensing costs when it comes to marijuana products. They're ridiculous,
I got hands around my throat so that I can't really say anything This is all hypothetical as it is.
We just need to comply by the rules and regulations and be happy that we're, I guess, it's legal now. But in the bad, sad part, a lot of the people that were making good money when it was illegal, they're out of business. A lot of
the black market part of it is
it's destroyed. I'm going to places where I can buy a pound for $200, bro.
Oh yeah.
It's fucking insane.
That just
Back
means
in the day, it was $2,500.
Yeah, that just means that they're growing more, which means they got to use more additives to get bigger and further.
And back in the day, it seemed like you were getting a little more quality. I don't know what we're getting now, but it's trippy. It's a whole different market.
Yeah,
and we knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, so because it's like that, you never really get something that's consistent all the time, and that's why we try to. Our product is consistent. If our product is not consistent, it doesn't grow in the market.
Yep.
And I've been living by that since we started this 3 years ago.
All right, homie. Let's say goodbye to the people.
Peace out.
You guys have a nice one. And visit his website. We're going to put it on the stuff. All right. You guys have a nice one.
Ktapothecary.com, baby. Peace.